2025 gave us new ships, controversial mechanics, and plenty of balanced debates, but 2026 might be even bigger. In this video, I'll walk through the changes Wargaming could roll out. Fixes for carriers, new customization systems, more immersive PvE, and maybe even ships we've never seen before. Hey everyone, Normal Guy of the North here, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do something a little different. Instead of reviewing a specific ship or covering a patch note, I want to look into the future. Let's talk about what World of Warships might look like in 2026. This is speculation, yes, but it's grounded in trends we've seen, developer comments, community pressure, and where the game industry as a whole is heading. Think of this as connecting the dots between what Wargaming has shown us, what they've hinted at, and what makes sense for them to do in order to keep this game alive and profitable. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's walk through where I think Warships is headed in 2026. Before we start speculating, let's ground ourselves in what's already been confirmed. Wargaming has already said that in 2025 and beyond, we're getting new ship lines, including tech tree expansions and more premiums. Ongoing balance changes for carriers and anti-air systems. More PvE content, with operations and convoys making a comeback. Experimental mechanics like classified documents, where ships get temporary buffs or debuffs depending on their role. The important takeaway here is Wargaming's strategy. Instead of massive, permanent changes, they're rolling out mechanics as timed experiments. They test, gather data, then decide whether to keep, adjust, or scrap. That philosophy is what sets the stage for 2026 because it means they're willing to be bold, but careful. Think of it as trial balloons for the future. Let's start with carriers, because, let's be honest, CVs are one of the most divisive class of ship in the game. Ever since the 2019 carrier rework, Wargaming has been tinkering non-stop with how planes interact with surface ships. And the issue isn't just damage, it's spotting. Being lit up constantly by aircraft is what makes CVs feel oppressive. So, what's likely in 2026, I think we'll see new consumables that allow surface ships to break spotting or reduce aircraft detection. A more modular AA system, maybe with ship-specific upgrades that let you tune your defenses. Possibly even spotting limits, where planes can't keep a target lit forever. Why do I believe this? Because it's a win-win for Wargaming. It doesn't gut carrier gameplay, but it gives surface ships more agency. And if players feel they can fight back, frustration goes down and retention goes up. Wargaming can't afford to ignore this forever, so 2026 is prime time for a spotting overhaul. Now, let's talk about variety. We've already seen convoy mode, respawn events, and special operations. These aren't just fun side modes, they're test beds. In 2026, I predict we could see the following. A permanent rotation of experimental game modes, so there's always something fresh. Seasonal meta changes, where mechanics are adjusted for a few months to shake things up. PvE and PvP blending together, maybe operations that connect to random battles, or campaign-style arcs where progress carries over. Why? Because variety drives engagement. If the game feels different every few months, people keep coming back. Look at how other live service games rotate maps, rules, or seasons. Warships is heading in that direction. And given how much players enjoyed respawn mechanics and PvE events, Wargaming knows this is fertile ground. One of the biggest pain points in Warships is matchmaking. We've all been in those blowout games where it feels decided in the first 5 minutes. That's not fun for anyone. So what could 2026 bring? Tighter tier spreads to prevent extreme mismatches. Smarter distribution of ship types, no more one team with 3 radars and the other with none. Map and spawn adjustments to reduce steamrolls. Why does this matter? Because Wargaming's business depends on player retention. New players who face constant one-sided losses don't stick around. And veterans who feel every game is a coin flip get frustrated. Even incremental improvements here would pay off big for Wargaming, so I think we'll see matchmaking tweaks continue into 2026. Warships has always walked the line between arcade and authenticity. It's not a simulator, but it sells the fantasy of commanding legendary ships. That's why I predict 2026 will double down on historical flavor. More campaigns tied to famous battles. Special missions themed around anniversaries or naval history. Premium ships with strong backstories that practically sell themselves. And let's not forget visuals. Expect more weather effects, storm systems, and better explosions. Wargaming has upgraded graphics steadily. and by 2026, they'll need to keep the game looking modern to compete with newer titles. Players stay invested not just because of gameplay, but because it feels immersive. Monetization is always evolving, and cosmetics are the safest bet. I see 2026 bringing deeper customization flags, hull details, even more elaborate skins, expansion of battle passes and seasonal tracks, giving players rewards just for logging in. Possibly a prestige system where you can regrind ships for visual upgrades. Why? Because cosmetics don't disrupt balance. Wargaming gets their revenue, and players feel like they're getting something cool without tipping the scales. It's the same logic that works for other big games, and I feel Warships will follow suit. This is the wildcard. Submarines started as a Halloween gimmick, and now they're a full-fledged class. What's next? My bet is on more hybrids. Cruisers with aviation support. Destroyers with deployable drones or support tools. Maybe even early guided missile ships if Wargaming wants to push the timeline forward. Why? Because every few years, Wargaming introduces something that shifts the meta entirely. Hybrids are already part of the game, and pushing that concept further is an easy way to keep things fresh. It also mirrors history. Naval warfare after World War II was all about hybridization and new technology. That's fertile ground for them to explore. Finally, let's talk about the competitive scene. Ranked and clan battles have been staples for years, but they've also gotten a little stale. By 2026, I feel we'll see the following: a structured league or ladder system with clearer progression, seasonal tournaments with better rewards, Clan Wars 2.0 maybe with more dynamic maps or campaign-style objectives. Why? Because esports and competitive play lock in the most dedicated players. They create content, they stream, they post guides. Wargaming knows that keeping this audience engaged pays dividends for the entire community. If they want Warships to thrive into its second decade, competitive play needs more attention. So, where does that leave us? If I had to sum it up, I'd say 2026 will be a year of refinement and controlled experimentation. Carriers and spotting get another round of adjustments. Game modes become more flexible and varied. Matchmaking sees incremental improvements. Historical content keeps the immersion alive. Cosmetics and customization keep the economy rolling. And somewhere in there, we'll get a bold new ship type or hybrid to shake things up. That's my prediction, but now I want to hear yours. What do you think 2026 holds for World of Warships? Do you agree with me, or do you see the future heading in a different direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them all. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to click on the videos you see on screen for more World of Warships content. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, take care and stay safe. See you in the next one, and bye for now.